Hello and welcome to Crypto Reviews. In this video, I'm going to talk about TomoChain, one of the top 100 projects on CoinMarketCap based on its market cap. And if you're new to cryptocurrencies and you came to this video because you want to learn more about TomoChain, well, this is the best place for you because I will be doing a breakdown of what TomoChain is all about in simple steps in a video which is going to be more or less around 20 minutes. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible. If you're not new to crypto, maybe you have heard of Tomo and you just want to educate yourself a bit more about it, try to understand more information than you probably do already know. And also, if you have invested in TomoChain, then you want to know what another person has to say, right? So you want to hear my opinion and compare it with yours, what you know, what I know, and maybe even add some more info to this review in the comment below. I would very much appreciate the feedback as always. But I want to make it clear that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. The disclaimer can be found in the description of this video, and this is not a sponsored video. And hey, if this is your first time here and this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Claudio, and this is CryptoChain, the channel where I do cryptocurrency news, reviews, demos, interviews, and blockchain games reviews to educate you and myself as well. So let's get straight into TomoChain and look at what it's all about. And this is the official website right here, tomochain.com, which can be found in the description of the video. It's a highly secure, low latency, and near zero fee transactional system. TomoChain relies on a system of 150 masternodes with proof of stake voting consensus that can support near zero fees and 2-second transaction confirmation times on their blocks. Security, stability, and chain finality are guaranteed via novel techniques such as double validation, staking via smart contracts, and true randomization processes. They're doing some comparisons here, as you can see, with other blockchains. They take 2 to 4 seconds for the confirmation time of a block. Transactions are 1,000 per second. The transaction fee is quite low as well. And we'll talk about the transaction fee because they're doing something quite interesting compared to other blockchains, for example, to Ethereum. Now, the number of block producers, they've got 150 masternodes, which are producing the blocks. And now with the supporting products, they've got 3 of them here, but there are a bit more, which I'm going to be talking about too. But the Tomo Wallet is where you can store your Tomo coins. Also, you can interact with Tomo Master on Tomo Wallet. So if you have, if you're running a master node, you can interact with that on Tomo Wallet. More features will be deployed on Tomo Wallet. So they want to make that kind of like the core functionality, kind of like the control panel of where you can interact with TomoChain using the Tomo Wallet. Now you can download it from both an Apple iPhone if you have one, Android, and also the web wallet version. Now Tomo Master is the master node. You can apply to become a master node candidate, but you do need to meet some criteria, and I will be talking about that a bit later in the video as well. You do need 50,000 Tomo to be running a master node on top of specs, hardware specs that you need to meet. So again, like I said, I will be covering that too. Now you can vote for candidates by using Tomo Wallet, MetaMask, Ledger, Mu, or Trust Wallet. And just something else to keep in mind with Tomo is that there are 3 different versions. There's the official, not the official, but the main chain Tomo coin, which is on the Tomo blockchain. Then there's the Binance version, which is on Binance chain, but that is actually a token because Binance chain is the main chain and Tomo is just one of the many tokens on Binance chain. And then there's also an ERC20 token version. So it's just something to keep in mind that you can differentiate between the 3. Just so that you don't get confused when it comes to that, because many people actually end up losing their coins or tokens when they're new to crypto and they don't understand the difference between all these different blockchains and the variety, right, that you can use. You can swap tokens in and out of these blockchains, so that can be a bit confusing to many. TomoScan, basically it's just the blockchain explorer where you can see all the blocks, all the transaction information when you're sending coins to somebody else on the Tomo blockchain. You can see the to and from address and also the amount that you have sent, as well as DApp information, decentralized applications, transactions, and so on, right? So if you have, like, for example, if you're playing a game on TomoChain and you've got a character that you want to send out to somebody else, again, that can be found on TomoScan as well. Now let's move on here. So we can see the dApp section here, right? The dApp section, there are quite a few dApps, not that many dApps, right? not too many big dApps. This is just something to keep in mind here. A lot of blockchain projects are suffering from the same. What I'm noticing with all these different crypto startups that I'm reviewing is that they're really struggling to get dApps on board, especially big dApps, big names, right? People that are investing a lot of money to build a dApp on their blockchain to kind of market themselves, to attract that attention and that huge user base. That is a bit of a struggle, and we're still in the early days, to be honest, so we got to give them some time. And not just to Tomo, but talking about other projects in general as well, that they're kind of suffering from that, right? So here we've got Tomo DOM, Tomo 3D, so quite a few dApps on here that we can see. Some games as well, right? They've got the gaming section, the open finance section, and the enterprise section. So let's move on, and here's the team. So this is again a very important part of the review. When you're reviewing a project, you need to check the team and you need to check the background. Not only how many team members there are, but also the background, right? So we've got Long Vuong, who's the founder and CEO, and again, this team is actually in Vietnam. That's where they're based. Lee Ho, I think is pronounced, co-founder and CFO. Clint Chaturvedi, he's the CBDO. Quite a lot of people here. Then there's the business analyst, the lead engineers, the software engineers, full stack. So the team is quite big compared to many other crypto startups, to be honest, right? They do have quite a few people in the team, right? And again, this team, I mean, we're talking about a company which has kind of come to fruition at the end of 2017, right? When the bull run started, when the bull run really took off. That's when TomoChain were kind of in the game and they started posting on Medium and started to market themselves and things like that, right? But yeah, I mean, considering that, I mean, they've got quite a big team, right? So they're doing pretty well for themselves. Now, let's take a look at the CEO's LinkedIn page, because, you know, you got to see what their background is. You got to see if they got blockchain experience. You got to see if they got financial experience, because you're working with blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. So this is one of the things that I like to see, right? So what does he have to say? He's an experienced technologist, entrepreneur, and product manager. He follows a big vision to build products that impacts millions of people. So let's look at his experience. He's been with TomoChain for 3 years and 1 month. That's when he started it. But again, like I said, it really took off in 2017. At the end of 2017 is when they started their marketing, the branding, and all these kind of things. Now, he used to work for CityMe for 1 year and 6 months, Groupon and Yelp in Vietnam. Again, this has nothing to do with blockchain, right? But something interesting, he used to work for the NEM blockchain. He used to work with the NEM team. He was actually a co-founder and a project lead. So he does have some blockchain experience, not too much, 9 months, but 9 months in the blockchain world is a long time. You can consider yourself really lucky if you've been working with blockchain technology for 1 year. You could consider that experience very important to your portfolio, right? So here you go. He's been doing it for 9 months, and he was the co-founder, project lead. So he was involved in a lot of information on that. So he probably saw some of the cons with NEM. I haven't actually reviewed NEM. I know they're an old project. They've been out for quite a long time. As you can see here, this was in 2014 when he started that. So yeah, I mean, not too much blockchain experience, a little bit, but he did graduate from the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. 4 years and 1 month. He's got a PhD in the economics department, so at least he's got some knowledge on that side, right? He knows what money is all about. He knows he understands maybe not the digital aspect. Maybe he's learned that through his work, but the fact that he understands how the role of money and money institutions work and things like that, and that is still quite important. Let's take a look at the next co-founder here, Lee Ho. Now, she was actually a director, investment and banking decision at Hochmean, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, City Securities Corporation for only 8 months. So she's got no blockchain experience, as we can see here. She was an investment and portfolio manager as well, investment manager. She's got financial experience, but not blockchain experience. So at least she's got one of the two. And she's at TomoChain for 3 years and 1 month as well. Pretty much when they started, the same as the other person. What's interesting here, it says that they're in Singapore. Let me go back here. It says that they're in Singapore. So TomoChain are probably in Singapore, right? They're not in Vietnam. Don't know why I thought they're in Vietnam. Yeah, it says here she's from Vietnam. So let's see if he's also from Vietnam. Yeah, he's also from Vietnam. But it says that TomoChain is in Singapore. So I'm not sure if they have an office there as well. probably, right? I assume so, because that's where the company name goes under. So to continue on here, the Tomo native token, the one that I've discussed earlier on, which is on Binance chain, can be traded on Binance and also on Binance DEX, which is Binance's decentralized exchange. Also on KuCoin is one of the recommended exchanges when it comes to trading, because I know that it is a good exchange. I don't recommend Hotbit and I don't recommend YoBit. You could lose your coins. Maybe you won't lose your coins on Hotbit, but you will definitely lose your coin. 99% sure you'll lose your coins or tokens on YoBit, so be very careful with that. It is a scammy exchange. I know they've been out for some time, and I don't know why people still use them, to be honest. Perhaps they've listed Tomo for free, so you know, Tomo are just marketing them, but no, I don't recommend them. Please stay away. Wallets support Tomo Wallet, MetaMask for Ethereum, MyEther Wallet Ledger, which is very important because that is secure. That's where you should be storing your crypto. If you store crypto, store them on your ledger to be as secure as possible, because as you know, web wallets can be hacked. So that's how it is. Let's move on here. And this is actually the Blockchain Explorer that I've been discussing about earlier when we started. So here, if you paste your address, if you copy your address from your wallet, paste it in here, you can see all the transactions that took place from your address in and out and so on. And of course, you can check other tokens on here as well, like for example, gaming tokens, gaming assets, and things like that. TomoScan. So yeah, the tokens, right? We've got the TRC20 tokens, we've got the TRC21 tokens, and we've got the TRC721 tokens. So 3 different types of tokens on TomoChain, and the TRC21s are apparently not so recommended to be used for new development when you're deploying a new dApp on TomoChain, and they do recommend TRC21, and we'll explain why. And pretty much the reason being is because TRC20 tokens do require you to hold Tomo to pay for the transaction fees, whereas TRC21 is a new version which doesn't require Tomo native coins, but you can use the tokens themselves to pay for transaction fees. So that kind of differentiates it, sets it aside from Ethereum, where with Ethereum, if you don't hold Ethereum in your wallet, you can't pay for transaction fees when you're sending tokens out, right? So this is one of the cool things about TomoChain, the fact that you do have the option to use tokens to pay for fees. This is how it should be, in my opinion. You shouldn't be forced to hold a specific coin if you're only interested in holding a specific token, right? Maybe you believe only in that startup, right? You should have that freedom. Now the 721 tokens, TRC 721, are referring to like documents and also non-fungible tokens, for example, in-game assets, which are being deployed on TomoChain. If you want to trade those, they are TRC 721 tokens, right? The TRC 21 tokens are actually referring to, for example, tokens that you can trade on other exchanges, right? Similar to ERC20 on Ethereum, to kind of compare. Now let's move on here. So here's another example of the courses that you can take and what is the difference between the TRC20, the TRC 721, and so on here. So one of the cool things here is that they are teaching developers how they can develop a dApp on TomoChain. They can basically take an academy course here. I don't know if it's for free, right? But I assume it's for free. They spread it in 5 different sections. You can learn about blockchain and TomoChain. You can set up the TomoChain development environment. You can get started with Solidity. That's what they use as well. But also Golang, from what I saw, it's another programming language. The token section to kind of explain to you how the tokens work, because that will be your purpose, right? When you're developing with TomoChain, you want to create a token for whatever use case you may have in the game, or not necessarily in the game, but even in the dApp, right? The game architecture, if you want to build a game too. So that is pretty cool, right? That is pretty cool. The fact that they've got that, because we're seeing this issue with some of these blockchain projects where they're not educating you. That is a bit of a problem. When you're not being educated, you don't have enough information out there. There are no tutorials, no nothing. You have to go on a Discord channel and talk to the team to try to get help. So, okay, I can understand getting some help, but there should be a course which kind of explains to you how you should get started, right? So, great work from TomoChain right here. Let's move on here. So, we've got Tomo P, right? So there are different versions of Tomo, right? Different protocols, you may call them, right? Now, Tomo P, what is Tomo P all about? Tomo P is about privacy, right? So, for example, if you're a company and you want to use TomoChain, you care about privacy because TomoChain is a public blockchain and you don't want your data to be transparent, like to be open, right, to the public, because then they can see what kind of personal information you got, what kind of personal transactions you're sending and things like that, right? They could associate that with your business and then they'll know what your revenue is and things like that. So maybe you want to be a bit more private from that aspect. So hence why we've got Tomo P. TomoChain obviously have thought of this aspect because they do care about it. So yeah, do check out this specific article here on Tomo P, high performance and anonymous transfer protocol on TomoChain. But yeah, this is pretty much it with Tomo P. And there's one other thing actually that I wanted to cover here from Tomo P. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, private transactions require a relayer to sign up a private transaction to pay the transaction gas that will eventually be refunded. This makes the privacy transaction system semi-decentralized. Now, Tomo P, on the other hand, uses Tomo Z, right? So every protocol that they use starts with Tomo. They've got Tomo P, Tomo Z, and then there'll be other Tomos as well, which I'll be talking about. So Tomo Z is a protocol that makes gasless transactions without requiring a relayer between the transaction creator and the blockchain. So that is pretty cool. We will be talking about Tomo P next, or Tomo Z next. Tomo Z. Now, what is the advantage? So like I was saying earlier, it does say here that if a person earns TRC20 tokens from an airdrop bounty campaign, they cannot easily experiment with dApps using the token or even make a simple token transfer, because any transaction in the dApp or to the token contract needs Tomo to pay for the transaction fees. So hence why they've come up with TRC21 with Tomo Z, with the Tomo Z protocol, because Tomo Z means that you can pay the transaction fees using the native token on TomoChain. So you deploy whatever token you need, and then that token can be used to pay for the transaction fees, which is great, right? Which is great because it just simplifies things, right? You don't need to hold Tomo coins and the token, just the one, right? Enough. So that is pretty cool, right? Now let's move on and talk about TomoX, and TomoX is the decentralized exchange protocol. So not only are they working with privacy, they're working with kind of low fees transactions, trying to use the native tokens on their blockchain, but also they're looking at decentralized exchanges. They like decentralization a lot in TomoChain, right? So that is pretty cool. This is kind of a diagram here of how it works. It's interesting because apparently the master nodes can execute the match orders based on the POSV consensus, right? The proof of stake voting consensus. The masternode, which is selected to create a block in a slot, is responsible for executing the decentralized exchange function within that slot. So that is pretty cool, right? You can see here the matching engine, how it works, the decentralized order book, TomoX software development toolkit, the orders, the matched execution orders, the verified transactions, and so on. So that is pretty cool stuff from TomoChain. They're really trying to hammer it right down, right? Now let's move on to something that maybe many of you are interested in, because it's all about staking. People love to stake. I know there's been a big hype in staking coins recently, and TomoChain of course have that too. The TomoChain masternode information here. So there can only be 150 masternodes in total. Now what I don't know is, I don't know if all 150 are live. I'm not entirely sure on that, right? Perhaps, but I don't know. I don't believe so, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, if you stake a 1000 Tomo, you do get a weekly reward of 2.1 Tomo, or a yearly reward of 109.5. That is an annual percentage of 10.9%. So that is pretty decent, right? The payout is pretty decent when it comes to staking Tomo, hence the hype with staking, right? Now, the masternode reward is 224 Tomo, right, per week. So that is quite a lot, right? We're talking like at the current price of Tomo, we're talking just over $100, $100 per week if you're a masternode owner, right? So not too bad, right? And also if you hold a masternode plus the 50,000 deposit, you get a bigger reward, which is 329 per week. Now here's the catch right here. It's not as simple as just using the wallet, having 50,000 Tomo and staking, or not staking, but like running a Masternode, right? You do need to meet certain criteria, hardware criteria. So here are the requirements. You must be facing internet directly, right? You need a public IP. You need 16 cores, a 16-core CPU, 32 gigs of RAM. Storage must be SSD. And you do need to prioritize the CPU. So that is pretty crazy, right? You do need to be technical. It's not straightforward. It's not for everyone. Perhaps they would help you if you're a bit techy and you want to set up a Masternode if you meet the criteria. But I'm not sure if there are websites out there. I know that there are websites that do hosting, and I know that some people that run Masternodes use these hosting websites. But I'm not sure if you could actually use a hosting website. I mean, I don't know if the hosting website even supplies you with so much, such as 16-core CPU. So that is quite a lot. I remember when I wanted to look into Masternodes a while back, and I checked one website, and I can't remember finding 16 cores being offered, but perhaps there are some hosting providers out there that do offer you that, right? So yes, you do need the Linux machine, right? You do need the Linux OS. If you run the TomoChain Masternode client, you need Python, this version, also Docker. If compiling with TomoChain from source code, you do need Golang. So this is more for developers. It is pretty much for developers, right? To be honest, you do need to be very techy. At least if you're not a developer, you need to be very techy to be able to run a Masternode with Tomo. So it's not for everyone, and not many people out there know how to use Linux, right? They don't know how to use the commands in Linux. Most people use Windows. So again, this is kind of a blocker for those non-techy people too, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it with the Masternode requirements. So again, you can actually earn a lot running a Masternode, but you need to meet that criteria, which costs money, right? So you gotta balance out the pros and cons there. Now let's take a look at their roadmap. So their roadmap, they've already done the Tomo Issuer version 1.0, which is to issue the TRC21 token. There was a software development toolkit version 1 launched for Tomo X. The Tomo Scan version 1.6 is in progress, and Tomo X version 2.1 is in progress for the decentralized exchange. You can see the latest commits that they've done here to the code. Even yesterday, like yesterday was the latest commit that they've done when they've merged one of the pull requests. Basically, there was some code review. They reviewed it, accepted it, and now they're merging it into the main branch, right? So yeah, pretty cool stuff here. Let me know what you think again in the comments below, but let's move on here to talk about the final things with TomoChain, and that is that on CoinMarketCap you can see the current price is trading at 52 cents at the time of doing this video, which is 29th of December 2019, so the year is almost over. The total supply is 100 million Tomo, and the circulating supply is 67.2 million. So quite a lot of it is already in circulation, which is a good thing, right? You always want to see a lot more in circulation because then it kind of means that the price is kind of bottomed, you may say, especially if we're in a bear market too, right? When we are still in a bear market. The market cap is only 35 million, so not a whole lot. A lot of potential there for TomoChain. And finally, let's take a look at their GitHub page. When I was looking at the number of people that are developing on there, we could see there are 18 different people. A lot of these are from the team, of course. If we go to their repositories here. So yeah, yesterday was the last update that they've done. These are the different programming languages that are supported, as you can see here. So yes, this is pretty much it from TomoChain. Let me know what you think of this review. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up, hit a like on the video, and again, subscribe if you're new. I'd very much appreciate it. I'd like to thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.